Welcome back to Launch Your Light, a podcast that covers the soul and strategy of running a business and sharing your heart's work with the world. Today, I have another guest on the show. Her name is Dr. Emily Gordon. She is a licensed clinical psychologist who owns her own private practice and is helping people find hope and healing. Welcome to the show. I'm so glad to have you here.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here.
We were just kicking off about how you're transitioning a bit and who you like to work with.
Yep.
And I didn't get to say that at the end of, right, like introducing you, but let's go right into that.
Yeah.
How did you start to feel the difference of like, okay, I've been working with this for a long time and now I'm feeling called to something else? Because I think a lot of women struggle with that.
Yeah.
These are my people. This is my background. I've had so much years experience with this. I really love these people, right? But then like I'm being called to something else. How have you navigated that?
That's a great question. I think that there's always this voice inside of us that sort of directs us somewhere. And when I was younger and just starting out, where I was directed was to like working with younger people, kids, teenagers, college kids, because there was a lot of excitement and I felt like there was a lot of sort of energy and potential. And when I first started out, I worked in a residential treatment program. So we
Wow.
would have like the milieu, we would have like 10 to 15 adolescents. And I just felt sort of the energy and the hope and the possibility and the connection that would develop there.
Mm.
And I think it took me a while, I sort of just did that, in private practice. Sometimes you just see people that come your way and sometimes you just sort of take whoever comes. And sometimes, you put out there an expertise or a skill or something, and then people come to you looking for that thing. Um, and then, I think as women, right, our businesses like sort of hard to figure out how do we balance our work and our business and our family and our business,
Mhm.
and how do we figure out how much energy we have to invest in those different areas and whatever other areas of our lives. So I think it was as my kids started getting older and I started to feel like, wow, I've been doing this for a while. And maybe
Ah,
have some expertise, and maybe I have something to offer, and maybe I'd really like to help other parents. Like it's sort of just aligned, right? Like I was working with younger people, I was having teenagers myself, and maybe I'd really like to help other parents,
mm,
both because I know how hard it is
mm,
as a parent,
mhm.
and I also know from my clinical practice how much it matters.
Mm.
Because, well, we didn't cause things, parents aren't to blame for everything, but parents really have a big role in the lives of their kids and teenagers and young adults. And I think it really matters. So I think, I don't know, I guess I started out, there's this voice inside ourselves and kind of have to like hear it and listen to it.
Yes. Yeah. I work with a lot of women, like I work with soul purpose and I work in
Mhm.
business and bringing these ideas onto the planet. And a
Yeah.
lot of that is like going through the energy we have in our body and like listening to the inner calling within
Yeah.
and clearing out the ability to be able to listen,
Yeah.
to hear that. Right. And also, I feel like this brings up the whole like, it's okay to evolve. We are here
Yeah.
to evolve. Your practice will evolve.
That's right. Right. I struggle with that, right? Because I sort of feel like I've devoted, however many along many, many years to one area of expertise. And, sort of, am I abandoning that?
Yeah.
Am I not that anymore? And of course, I am still that. And I'm other things too. I mean, to me, that's one of the things that I love about my work is that there's lots of possibilities. There's lots of room, I think, in psychology for learning and evolving and training. Um, and so, the tricky thing is like I know that in my heart and in my like practice, but then the marketing of that like is tricky, right? If we're talking about running a business, which is not something I
Yeah.
went to school for. It's not something I learned how to
No,
do,
no one
right?
gets to. Right.
And it gets really tricky when you're talking about like the business of helping people and all of the layers
Yeah.
and complications of that. Um, but yeah, I think we can evolve and we should evolve because I'm different than we're all different than we were before.
Right. Wait, so a lot of people who are listening are business owners or they're thinking about it, right? So what's it like to have your own private practice and be in the business of helping people and then
Yeah.
how to market that, right? That's a great topic. Are you in Mass?
I am in Massachusetts. Yeah.
Right, cool. So you have your own practice. Is it just you or do you have other people?
Just me.
Just you. How
Yeah.
long have you been in practice and how has that been?
Yeah.
How
So
has
I've been
that journey been?
over 20 years, like almost 25
Wow.
years. Um, and I always say, like, it's really, there's some really wonderful things about working for yourself.
Mhm,
I got lots of flexibility. I
mhm.
can say yes or no. I make the rules, right? And yet it's a lot of pressure. Because if I say no, then, if I don't show up to work one day, like,
Right.
there's no one else there to do what needs to be done or to get paid or so one thing I've been evolving is like what do I do myself versus what do I have other people help me with. um for a long time I've really just been myself. I do my own accounting, I do my own marketing, I do my own
Yes.
taxes, I do my own I mean I do everything. It's me. um
Oh, all the hats.
all the hats.
With the marketing of that, how has
Yeah.
that felt? Because so many of us do. We're in the business to help
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
How has that been for you to position yourself like as authority and still within authenticity,
Yeah.
right? The authentic, really wanting to help people. How has that been marketing for you?
So I've only started doing more marketing as I have tried to develop like kind of things in addition to my private practice. I feel like the marketing that I did for most of the 20 plus years has mostly just been like connecting with people.
Right.
And sort of and that was also before social media. Like marketing was really just having good relationships with colleagues, giving talks, sort of being out there and just putting myself out there. And that part I'm like is more comfortable for me. That's kind of what I do in my business, right? I'm talking, I'm listening, I'm connecting with people, and that feels more authentic and more genuine. I think the part that's hard is like putting yourself out there in these public spaces, on social media. Um, which of course as a psychologist there's a lot of sort of ethical
Yeah.
and limits that we run into. So how do I do that, sort of in ways that align with my values and my ethics? Um, and I was going to say one other thing, and I don't remember what that was.
What does
So
and then what does marketing look like now? Like nowadays from that 20, 25 years ago? Hugely different, I'm sure.
hugely different, right? And
Yeah.
I think what I was going to say too is the piece that's really overwhelming sometimes is like it feels like there's a lot of people and there's a lot of noise out
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
right? And so figuring out how to put yourself out there in sort of a genuine and authentic way, in a way that you feel confident and comfortable and that you feel like you have something to offer.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
hard.
It is hard.
Yeah.
I'm bringing this up so heavily because these are some of the biggest issues people have,
Yeah.
right? Is like the name of the podcast when I say I'm like sharing your heart's work with the world. It sounds cute.
Yeah.
It's very challenging, right? To
It
be like,
is.
this is who I am. This is what I'm choosing to do. I know I've got something that can help you. Now I've got to share that. Oh my God. It's like
Yeah.
a whole nother level to it. Right. And I can imagine doing this as a psychologist. Right. So, what forms of marketing do you like? Are you a newsletter person? Are you a networking person? Are you on social media? What has been helpful for you lately?
Yeah. So my tried and true method is just in-person connections. I actually just came up to my office. I met somebody for lunch, so part of it is connecting with colleagues that I already have,
Ooh.
and part of it, just sort of keeping up. And part of it is, there's a treatment program that opened, and so I met with somebody who's involved in the treatment program. So I can learn more and they can learn more about me. So, I for me, the one-on-one is what feels most valuable and authentic. Finding finding online spaces to connect with like-minded people, whether that's in business,
Mhm.
or just sort of values that I have. I did just start an Instagram page, which I have a mixed relationship with. Um, I feel like I want to be out there and sort of sharing my expertise and my thoughts, and it's really hard to make time for it and to feel like I have something sort of original and interesting to
Yeah.
say. And I'm not that tech savvy. So, like, I just did a post this week. I think it took me 2 hours to make an Instagram post. I know that is a complete waste. Like, it's very silly. It's a waste of time. But I think as I keep going and try to build in some systems for myself, that it'll get easier.
Yeah, I love this because so many women, I talk about this all the time in my business school. I'm like, getting really clear about the ways in which you actually like to market yourself is huge. And so many women answer what you said
Yeah.
in person.
Yeah.
In person. Very rarely do I have like women saying, like, oh, yeah, it's hands down social media. They come
Right.
flying and buying right off the streets. Like, a lot of women still like that in-person connection, building relationships.
Yeah.
And but we're all so pressured to show up online.
We are. We are. It feels like you have to. It feels like that's where the business is.
Right.
Um, but it's interesting because I think there's a kind of like whatever the rule is, you may know it better than I do, like the rule of seven or the whatever the number is, it sort of has to be X number of contacts before somebody
Absolutely.
feels like they trust and know you. And I think that's true, both in person, and online.
I
Like
think
I
to 23, actually.
23, okay.
23, like the average day is like 23 touch points.
Yes.
Someone will move forward with you to work with you. It's something outrageous.
That's
Like,
a lot,
a lot.
right? And I think, like, I just did a book series, a book talk with a colleague, and it was our first event, and we were starting it from scratch, and I felt like I was posting it everywhere, right? I felt like I was annoying people, and if it really takes 23 touch points, I there's no way I was doing it enough, right? And having like the discipline and the confidence to keep doing it and keep putting it out there. And if nobody's responding, is that because it's not interesting or it's not worthwhile, or is there something, right? All this sort of
Right.
self-doubt that comes up. So um yeah.
This is such a great topic because this is just doing business 2025. It looks so easy, doesn't it? On the outside, you
Yes.
can see how so many people are like, oh, you've got it all put together. Oh, you right. When it's a lot of energy, it's a lot of thinking, it's a lot of feeling, it's a lot of growth, evolution, healing. Like I call being an entrepreneur like one of the most advanced self-healing journeys there are.
Well, it's true. And it takes a lot of, it's been a little bit humbling for me, because, some of these things are things I help other people with.
Right.
Like, for example, when we talk about body image struggles, right? And, people, sort of have that internal criticism or dissatisfaction or even distortion. And what we tell people is, you may not think it at first,
Mhm.
but like, you got to tell yourself anyway, right? I am worthy. I am okay how I am. And maybe if you keep telling yourself, even when you don't believe it, maybe you will start to convince yourself that that's one of the hopes.
Mhm.
There's other strategies that we use. And so I find myself kind of having to walk myself through those same challenges of, like, you just have to, like, you have to keep doing it, even when you don't feel comfortable or you don't feel confident. You got to keep doing it anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that is so needed. And you're not like, unless you have a supportive community of others, a
Mhm.
supportive family and friend system, which I tell people usually aren't the best to go to your business stuff with, right?
Right.
Like they're
Right.
not the best. They love you. They want to protect you. They want to
Right.
keep you safe. They don't want to hear about your new crazy idea.
Yeah.
They don't want to hear about you leaving your six-figure
Well,
job,
and
which
they may not have the expertise that you need, right? I think that
exactly.
there's lots of things we
Yeah.
need
Yeah.
in business.
And I think that's why communities, networks, like I run the business school, I'm a mentor, but I have the group. So
Mhm.
much of the energy and the power and the medicine of that group is the women in there.
Mm.
Right. The mastermind of energy, be like to go in with anything. And there's a group of other people that I don't have to be the only person in there responding. You
Right.
know what I mean? Like you can really like not feel crazy.
Yes.
And if
And
you are
feel like it's okay to not know what you don't know and that you're not the only one.
right. And how
Yeah.
many people like need to release the pressure on themselves? Like you're like you didn't get trained in business. We didn't learn this stuff in school. You didn't learn about entrepreneurial skills in grammar school. We
Right.
don't know these things, and you don't even get to play that game till you've got something you want to share with the world.
Yeah.
And then you enter that realm.
And it's okay to ask for help.
Yeah.
I think that's been a big shift for me this year is that, um, up until recently, I've been mostly able to do a lot of this myself.
Mhm.
But recently I'm encountering things I just didn't learn and didn't grow up with and don't know. And so I sort of have to ask myself, like, is it worth the time and the effort and the energy to struggle through this? It's not that I couldn't do it, but there might be ways that I could get some help, which would give me more time and energy to do the other things that somebody else can't do for me.
Absolutely. What are you? Yeah, tell us about it. What are you trying to delegate? This is a great
Well, I think I'm gonna. Well, if I say it, I might have to do it. So I've been trying to get some help with some of the technology pieces.
Great. That's
Um,
great. Yeah.
because it's just not. There's other people who know it better than I do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like this year, we're about to hit 10 years in business for our brick and mortar. We've owned a gym for 10 years, and then my husband turned it into a jujitsu school
Oh,
for families, for children, bully-proof programs, women's self-defense, all of it. It's been great.
fantastic.
We're just about to hit 10 years in May, and we're finally getting a full-time bookkeeping help. Because for 10 years we've been struggling and ripping our hair out, pulling our
Yeah.
hair out, trying to do expenses and P&Ls. I'm like, I can do it. I took account.
Yeah.
He's an accountant. I can do it, but that's not where my brilliance should be.
Right.
We don't need to be getting into fights all the time at the end of the year. Like, no, we at this point, we are absolutely worthy of hiring a full-time bookkeeping team
Right.
to do this for us. We also have like, even like getting house cleaners. We've had that for a year. That changed everything. We're getting laundry services to do things
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Right. And like getting really clear in your business, like what do you want to work on?
Yep.
And even at home, what are the things you don't want to do?
Well, that's a different topic.
That is a whole different topic, right?
Yeah.
But it's like we're like this year, 10 year, we're really like, oh my goodness, where are our energy leaks? Like you said, like a 2-hour Instagram post, right? Like, where is just it's not it. Like it is not it for me. And that is also a scary move to then
Yes.
give that responsibility, give that project, give that
Yep.
whatever, call it right to another person.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, it depends what the task is. I think that's something that I struggle with as like, making sure that A, you trust the person, but B, that they can less so with accounting, right? More so like with the social media,
Yeah.
like that somebody can communicate and express
Mhm.
what it is that
Brand.
I want to
Yeah.
say, my expertise, my voice, right?
Yeah.
Um, so I think that just goes back to getting clearer about what kind of help and where I can offload and where I can't or don't want to.
Yeah. Also, you working with someone, anyone hearing this right now that's thinking about hiring someone, hiring an expert, hiring support, help, delegation, it makes us get more clear
Yeah,
about what we're doing,
right.
what our voice is, what we're helping people with, what the brand is, right? Hasn't it been like almost like a
Well,
nice,
I think it helps for in multiple ways, right? So yes, it gives you more time and energy and creativity and space to sort of really figure out what you want to do. And then I think it helps you to show up in doing those things, right? Like if I'm tired and overloaded and distracted, when I show up to work with somebody, I'm not doing as good of a job as if I am more energetic and focused and rested and aligned.
Mhm.
So I think which helps you feel better about the work you're doing. It helps the work actually be better, and that just helps everybody.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is such a great behind the scenes conversation. What's your astrology sign?
I am a Taurus.
Oh, we're in Taurus season. Happy birthday soon.
Thank you. Yes.
Yes, I love that. I'm a Capricorn. So yeah, this is a very realistic, grounded business conversation.
Maybe it's the sort of the psychology behind the business.
Yes, yes, I
Right.
love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's flip to who are the people you really like to work with right now? Like
Yeah.
who are you leaning towards?
So I think the biggest the first thing I say is like I am interested and energetic about working with someone who wants to do the work, right? Who wants to work with
Yes.
me. Um, so I mean that's kind of like the most important part. Beyond that, I really feel strongly about helping teenagers and young adults kind of figure out who they are in the world. I really feel passionate about helping young people, women kind of feel comfortable in their bodies and break free from all of these criticisms and expectations and shoulds and
Yeah.
um, sort of external ideas about who we should be and what we should look like. And I am increasingly really, really passionate about helping parents of teenagers
Yeah.
because I know from my work that what parents do really matters, not to put pressure on parents, but to empower parents, right? That I think that teenagers don't want us and don't need us.
Mhm.
And I think that what we do as parents has a huge impact both to our teenagers, to
Mhm.
our own
Mhm.
like emotional satisfaction and wellness.
Mhm.
And I say this and I feel like it sounds corny, but I really mean it. Like it matters to the world because when kids grow up,
Mhm.
they're then like creating and participating and engaging in the world. And there's so much possibility. Um, so that's kind of who I am more energized about working with these days. I am working on maybe putting together some groups for parents and some education for parents.
Yes. It's so needed.
Yeah, I
Imagine, I
think,
think a lot of people say right now, imagine being a teenager right now. A lot of people say that right now,
yeah.
right? And it's like,
I think people always say that.
okay, okay.
But look, I mean, it's really hard to be a teenager these days. I think what teens are facing and having to deal with is so intense. I also think that it's hard to be a human being these days. I mean, I think that part of it is that parents are stressed and overwhelmed and feeling really big things, and it's hard to take care of yourself and try to take care of your teenagers. And, parenting in general brings up lots of big feelings. It's really hard. Um, and the other piece of what really is important to me is I think the relationships really matter.
Mm.
And so I really find myself wanting to, like, teens actually really do want to be connected and seen and understood by their parents. They really do. And I think parents want to feel connected to their kids.
Yeah.
And as much as we have to get through the challenges of any time, we also have to remember that like this is a relationship that is going to last a lifetime.
Yeah. I was listening to someone say this because I have littles. I have a 2 and a 3-year-old.
Right.
I'm like in the trenches with that. And she was talking about that. She was like, there's a lot of people who kind of like poo-poo down on like the having a teenager, like, oh, you think that's bad, wait till they're teens kind of thing. And she was just bringing back that this is like a beautiful time it's
Love,
beautiful
love
time
that.
with your children. The teenage
It
years can be a really powerful, inspirational, touching, like you're really seeing the person they're becoming. And you get to be a part of that. Right. Where she's like
making me cry.
oh.
Yeah.
And I was just like, thank you. And she was like, and the people who have the 2 to 6-year-olds are in the trenches. So give
It's
them
all, you know what? It's all hard,
hard.
right? It's all hard. And it's hard depending on our own upbringings and
Yeah.
what's going on in our lives and in the world and in our supports.
Mhm.
And, and I think that I'm so glad you brought that up, right? Because there is this misconception that, oh, teenagers, they're so
Mhm.
difficult, right? Or like,
Mhm.
oh, with this sense of dread of that, like, right, like, just wait till you get to have teenagers. And there's this sense, and I think teens really feel that.
Right.
And it's really unfair. And I think you're right, is that that's sort of what draws me to this age, both like my own kids and just like there's so much happening. And they're like, I mean, there's so much happening in their brains, and in their social like circles and in the world. And they're figuring out who they are and what their values are and how they can contribute. And like they're so creative and innovative, like and energetic, and they're so optimistic. And the talk I just gave was on like the development of the adolescent brain. And so much of what happens during adolescence is the is actually what they're supposed to be doing, right? Like the challenging of rules, the
Yeah.
pulling away, the taking risks. Like that's how they learn. And so I think teens get sort of I don't know, a bad rap, or they get
Yeah.
misunderstood.
Right. A lot of people, when if the conversation goes there, I'm like, have you talked to a teen lately? Because they're pretty awesome.
Yeah, they are.
Like, I'm not talking to all the teens, but that I want to talk to a teen. I'm about to be 40, right? So I'm like, yeah, no, I want to hear what they have to say.
They are really awesome. They have,
Right.
I mean, and they are smart.
Yes.
They, I mean, I could give you like when my teenagers, sort of call me on something, right? Or they say something and they have got my number. We even sometimes I don't, like, oh, in a way that I maybe don't want them to know, but they are smart. They see things, they get things, and they don't give enough credit. There are also hard moments, but there are hard moments for all of us.
Everyone, yeah.
And yeah, it's pretty cool.
Oh my God, I love this. This is so good. Because they are, it's like they're the next wave
They are.
of going out into the world and
They are.
becoming people. And they're seeing what's going on in the world.
They're
And
gonna have to solve a lot of these problems that are,
yeah,
that we're sort
yeah,
of
sitting.
settling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm like, I'm here to support them. And
Yeah.
apparently, so are you. I love this. Oh my God. It's already we have 2 minutes left. How did we get here? That was so fast.
Yeah.
Okay, how can people find you? I'll get your links that you've given me
Yeah.
and put them in your show notes, but for any of just our listeners who are
Yeah.
driving or listening right now.
The best place to find me is my website, dremilygordon.com. You can find me on Instagram, Dr. Emily Gordon. I'm
Yeah.
consistent. Um, look at me do marketing. And I just started a newsletter actually for parents of teenagers.
Ooh, yeah.
So I have to be a little bit better about actually doing it, but I did start it. So I'm starting somewhere. And you can subscribe to that on my website. And I'm also on LinkedIn, but that may be not as good of a place for your listeners.
Great. I love the newsletter.
Thank
I
you.
love the newsletter. People need to hear how good the newsletter still is because
I
it's direct. It comes right to your
It's
inbox.
direct, and it feels like the next step for me.
Yes. There's a lot of power there. Like for owner, we own that. You own that list.
Yep.
We don't own these social media platforms. Nope,
Yep.
nope, 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 right?
Yep.
You have a higher percentage of people seeing your stuff. Anyone hearing this, go do the newsletter thing. It's powerful. And
It
people
is.
like me, when you have your newsletter list people and you're like, oh, I love her stuff. I can't wait till I get another one. Oh, I've learned oh, that was great. People can start things. They can forward it to people
Yeah.
who need it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think this is the hard part, is like having the idea, right? And then kind of having the like actually doing it.
Yeah.
Which is, I guess, a
Yeah.
whole other topic we can discuss another time. But
That's what I do. You can
yeah,
come to me for that. That's my
yeah.
jam.
Well, that would probably be useful for me.
Okay, this was delightful talking to you today.
Thank you so
So glad we
much.
get to talk to a Taurus during Taurus season. This was beautiful on the spring day with you, Emily. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much, Jayme. Lovely. I love your energy and what you're doing for women business owners, and it's nice to connect.
Thank you. Thank you for showing people the behind the scenes, the real stuff. Okay. Thank you to all our listeners for tuning in and hearing these great topics today. We will see you on our next episode. Bye.